Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ben and Jamie Talk Football Podcast. We've got a good one today because lots has happened. It's been, was it 2 months, 3 months, it feels like, since we last went live together?
It may as well have been, yeah.
It's been a while, so a lot has happened. We've had Trent Alexander-Arnold confirm that he's leaving. We meant to talk about that the other week. We'll do that today. We've had the top 5 race getting better and better. In fact, since our last podcast, I'm pretty sure Liverpool have become champions. That's even happened.
Yeah,
Chelsea and
no
Liverpool
one cares
played.
about that, no.
Yeah, no one cares about that
Yep.
one. Chelsea and
no one cares
Liverpool
about
played. Lots happened, and we missed it all. But we're back now. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the top 5 race, of course. United and Spurs are in a European final, but are also sat in 16th and 17th in the Premier League. Apparently, the Forest owner is not very happy with Nuno for getting his side into Europe this season. Apparently Champions League was required. Did not know that. And it's official, lads. Southampton are not the worst team ever to play in the Premier League. Ben, where do you want to start?
I think because I support Chelsea at the start of the top 5 race.
Oh, okay.
Get the most important thing out.
Well, to be honest, it is the only important thing, is it not now? I mean, there's no relegation.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the Premier League basis in Europe, obviously there's 2 cup finals: the Champions League, the Europa League, and in fact the Conference League as well with Chelsea. But certainly in terms of Premier League talk, 2 games to go. Chelsea hanging on by a thread. Do you think you're gonna do it?
Based on before Sunday, I would have said yes, but now I don't know. Jackson suspended. It's a big miss, even though he's absolute idiot for what he done. And yeah, I don't know. I think City, maybe Newcastle and Villa might steal it.
Yeah, it is crazy to think that we're going from not second because Arsenal, I think, are pretty much there now, aren't they? Well, in fact, they're not. But they have to beat Southampton. That's it.
Yeah. Got Newcastle.
Yeah. But I back Newcastle to beat them. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, we'll talk more about the games coming up on Friday, won't we? But the weekend that we had Chelsea, Newcastle looked better, didn't they? The whole way.
Yeah, 100%. From the minute, obviously, we conceded in the second minute, and then Bruno Gomes with deflection from Gusto. The game, honestly, just felt flat. I think, is St James's Park at the end of the season when you actually need to go and win the hardest ground in the league to go to? Because when you need to go there and get a win, it's probably the hardest thing to do in the league. Because I think you're more likely, in my opinion, to go Anfield at the end of the season and get a win than St James's Park.
I think it depends on circumstances, as always. You know, if in this situation where Newcastle are playing for something, absolutely. Yeah. But I think if Liverpool were also, say, they were in that tight title race, I think it'd be just probably on par. I'd put them on par. I'm not going to say it'd be harder. I'd put them on par.
Newcastle fans are mental.
Etihad, pretty hard to go to as well because, you know, Man City are actually just a good side and it is their pitch. But yeah, I would say right now, Newcastle probably one of the better teams in the league and definitely the hardest place to go. I would say. So I certainly agree. I didn't expect Chelsea to win that, it came through as well that way. Who do you want to focus on next is the big question.
Let's go to the game on Saturday, I believe it was. Probably, in my opinion, the only real interesting 3 p.m.
Southampton City?
City, yeah. I think that's the only other than Brighton Wolves was boring. Brentford get a win, that takes them to 8th. I mean, they could get Europe. That would be really weird seeing Brentford in Europe. I mean, a testament to how good they are run.
Is 8th what we're calling European cut-off? Is that where it is? I
think it's 8th gets European football if City beat Palace in the FA Cup.
Right, is that how? I'd love to see Palace get it, personally. That's what I'd rather see. But
I think Palace or Brentford. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I'd quite like to see Palace personally. But Also, I do think, I don't know, Palace had a weird start to the season, but I think they deserve it more. And that sounds odd, maybe, but
Yeah,
I think Palace, this second half of the season, I mean, and the FA Cup run and everything, it's just been brilliant for them, hasn't it?
yeah,
But yeah, Manchester City drawing a blank against Southampton, who officially are no longer the worst Premier League club in history.
yes,
In my eyes, they are, in terms of what I've actually watched. Derby was obviously a bit before my time. I mean, it was there, it was about, but it wasn't really something that I was watching. Southampton, on the other hand, I've watched it live, and I've just... Russell Mine, worst manager I think I've ever seen in the Premier League. Hoping that he doesn't get the job that he used Southampton to audition for. And, I mean, look, everyone thought when they came up they were going to go down. There's no doubt about that. But
no.
to play 36 games, draw 6, and only win 2, get pummeled every week almost, it's a bit of a shame for Southampton, especially as they've shown that they can pull off decent performances against Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. They may not have got the points in all of them games, but I saw them cause an issue for Arsenal at one point. I watched them cause an issue for Liverpool, both games. So for something to be there for them, they really have, I think, let themselves down to be that bad.
Yeah. No, I agree fully.
But yeah, I mean, out of City, they're safe. Champions League, pretty much guaranteed for them. They got a 3 point.
I think they will get it because of how crap maybe Chelsea and Forest might be in this. And I think City maybe have that they do get things over the line.
Yeah,
so Pep
definitely.
has that philosophy. That's the one.
No, go on.
Yep.
Go on. Go back for it again. Second chance.
He has the philosophy.
There
There you go. But no, I think they will. Even though, I mean, to be fair, Southampton didn't look like they played for anything in that game on the weekend. 2 shots all game. Jesus.
Yeah, but if they've done that all season, right? Played that dug-in way, they against some teams they'll get a few more shots and chances.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they almost beat Man United at one point, didn't they? They were all over them. But yeah, I just think, why not play that way for every game when you know you're up against it? Right, we're not going to be this team that possesses and wins games. These cheap, Gary Neville said it, the cheap Pep knockoffs that everyone's trying to be. Don't bother with that. Just Stoke City. Be Stoke, It worked for so many years. It would take people by surprise. Look, Forest are obviously much better at it, but Forest have got a Stoke City-esque about them, haven't they? Just will suck in the pressure, hit you on the counter and go. I'm not saying it would have saved Southampton, but it made their season a lot less embarrassing.
I mean, 12 points, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy.
But it does also show the difference between the relegated 3 and those above them, because there is a whole Southampton in between 17th and 18th, which is ridiculous.
I mean, we don't obviously want to kick off about next season, but it does. I think next year might be the first time in 3 years that I think there's probably a promoted team that will stay up.
What, Leeds?
But yeah, I think they're likely to. Out of all 3 of them.
It's whether they can sustain it though, because even they stayed up last time they came up, and then went down the next season. It's almost an unsustainable way of playing. And I hope that they stay up, and I hope they do well. But we'll have to wait and see what next season brings, and who else comes up, because that one's still out for discussion. But yeah, moving back onto the top 5, Aston Villa went and got themselves a win against Bournemouth, who just
big win.
They've had a big drop off, Bournemouth, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think since the pressure of maybe European football came into it, they feel like they've just gone into second gear a lot. The draw against, United, they did get a red card. I think it was Justin Cliver or Tyler Adams who got it. But ever since they felt the pressure, loads of losses. I mean, I don't know whether it's maybe because Justin Cliver was injured for quite a little bit, or whether it's just poor end of season form, which is completely different to how they were last season.
Yeah.
I mean, they were what 19th after 9 games last season, had like 3 points. Ended the season, they looked like they were on European push.
Yeah.
A bit like Palace done, but Palace slowed down a little bit as well. Yeah, Bournemouth dropped off. I think it's a big win for Villa, to be fair. Going away to Bournemouth, not an easy game, especially, I mean, now it's them qualified for Europe. Same with Forest, which we'll get onto more about later. But yeah, that's probably for Villa. That's all she writes.
Yeah.
Big win.
I mean, we have covered all of the other teams in contention for the Champions League apart from Forest. So, I mean, you bring them up, may as well go on to them. A 2-2 draw on the weekend against a Leicester side who have also been underwhelming this season. But it was an opportunity where they almost had to go and take, didn't they? If they were going to get Champions League football. Do you think that's what the angle was between the owner and Nuno at the end? The fact that
I honestly think, considering how good of a season they've had, to still sit there and go and moan at the manager's mental. Because for me, they are 7th. They're a team that some people said to go down. Like, you're not
me.
And they, sure, they were 2nd, 3rd, whatever you want to say. Nuno overperformed, and I think still he has. So I don't think the manager. Maybe they should have won. Maybe Leicester's an easy game, but think about the teams they've also beat. Above. Which, for me, I mean, the owner, obviously, you got a point where you want to be at the highest European, but you're also a small team that was 17th last season.
Yeah.
Big step up, and I'd honestly walk if I was Nuno now, after that. Because I think, for me, that is mental.
I think that depends if he thinks he can build on. Or there might have been, it might have been blown out of proportion, I don't know.
Yeah, that's potential as well.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe he was saying something else. You were slept with my daughter, or something like that. You don't know. It probably wasn't that, but yeah.
It is crazy, considering they're only 1 point off 5th still.
I know.
Champions League.
It's still in reach, isn't it? It just feels like there was a big blow, though. I mean, they were 3rd from December until April. And now to go from being 3rd to down in 7th, it's a big hit that's gone time after time, it doesn't.
But they're still in their hands. They've got West Ham next week.
West Ham is beatable, isn't it?
Chelsea, which is the biggest game now probably of the season.
Oh, that will be that's televised. We always look at which one's going to be televised. That one will be the one.
Yeah, this one.
I mean, it should be interesting. Certainly interesting. But moving on and away from the top 5, I think we focus on them a lot of the time, don't we? Let's go on to something else. Should we go down to the bottom of the table? And by the bottom of the table, I do mean the finest teams in Europe for England this season. Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. In a game what I called the other day the El Crapico, which is coming up in the Europa League final. What do you think? Should we focus on their European nights before anything else?
I don't know. I can't. I think I've got still so much to say about Amorim. I remember weeks ago I did, and I still think it's the same. For me, on the league side of things for United, I don't care if you get them to a European final. I don't care if you win it. To get a Manchester United team 16th, that takes, honestly. Louis van Gaal got sacked for 5th and winning Europa League.
Yep.
The standards that have dropped for United, that they can go, we're 16th, but trust the manager because we're in a European final. It doesn't matter. Yes, they'll get Champions League if they win, which I don't think they will. But I can't see. I mean, Amorim said in his press conference this week about if the board don't support him on this stuff, and they're in the same situation next year, he'll walk away before he's sacked. Which I know he's got their best interests at heart, but what is it now? Probably, if I'm to quickly check, I don't know. Their last league win was Jesus Christ.
It was back against Leicester.
March.
They've only won 4 games since Christmas in the Premier League.
So, I remember Ten Hag was on about 11, 12 points before he got sacked. Van Nistelrooy came in and got 9, so 21. So, and Amorim's been in since what? Probably November. December, start of December, ish, around that.
Yeah, around that time, yeah.
They've got 17 points, I think, since November.
Uh-huh.
Since he came in, they've got 17 points. You can talk about, they were in the European final. They're lucky to be in that as well because Leon got a red card that wasn't a red. And that completely changed the game.
It was also an Old Trafford moment, I think, that final.
Yeah.
You can say luck and stuff, but it is a place where there are memories and stuff. And it pushed them through in that game against Lyon. But they were also strong against Bilbao, who were one of the favoured sides, and they done well to win that game. Over both legs, looked very strong, much better than I thought they were going to be. Tottenham, they had it easy, didn't they? I watched the second leg against Bodø Glimt, and I thought, my God. I mean, firstly, they play on an AstroTurf pitch, which, it says something.
No.
But secondly, Tottenham didn't really even have to get out of second gear. And for a European semi-final, if you don't have to get out of second gear, you're not playing the highest quality opposition. Look, great run by Bodø Glimt. Absolutely incredible run for them. But yeah, Tottenham was good. And hopefully, Tottenham go on to win it. However, what I would say is, we've watched United this season, and it seems like they're unable to get it up for most of the season. But when a big game comes along, boy, are they up for it sometimes. Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal in the cup when they had them in the FA Cup, they got up for that one. There's little moments this season where Man U really have looked the part. Tottenham, on the other hand, I can't actually sit there and say, wow, that was a great Tottenham performance. Well done. At one time throughout the season. Can you?
Probably not off the top of my head, no.
No, I mean,
I think there has been a performance where they have won 4-0 or something towards the start of the season, but I can't remember it.
Everton in the second game week.
That was it, 4-0, yeah.
They did beat Man U 3-0 as well at one point, but is that really an impressive
That
win?
was, I remember that.
I know which 4-0 you're thinking of, by the way. Manchester City.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep, they beat Man City 4-0. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
I think with Tottenham, now as much as I hate them, rivals, all this, that, I do want them to beat United, which is really weird. I don't know why. I don't know, as a Chelsea fan, that to me makes no sense. But I also feel like with Tottenham, Ange has proven a little bit that if you give him what he needs, it will work with the Tottenham team. Yes, I don't think even if he wins the European final, he should stay. But I think considering what managers Tottenham are linked with, compared to Ange, I can't see the harm really.
Who are they linked with out of interest?
I think Iriola, one of them. And then there's a few that Bodø Glimt manager as well. I forgot his name. But the Glimt manager, because Leeds are also linked with him as well.
But that's just like when Liverpool went and played Atalanta in Klopp's last season, and Atalanta won. And then everyone, oh my God, he's coming over to Liverpool. Yeah. It's going to happen. It's just recency playing them. Do you know who I think would be a great fit for the Spurs job? Is Glasner from Palace.
Oh,
I feel like he.
I don't think he.
I don't know if he'd go. He didn't need to leave, but this is like money and money talks, doesn't it? And it is. Look, at the end of the day, we say what you want about Tottenham. They might have a trophy at the end of the season. They might not. They're still a big club. The foundations are there. Look at their stadium and stuff like that. I don't mean they're big in terms of trophies in recent years. But in terms of foundations and what they've got going for them, there is a size to them, and it's going to be appealing to any manager. Look, he will miss the Crystal Palace cheerleaders if he did go. But yeah, I do think. I feel like they could be a match made in heaven, to be honest, because he's really turned Palace around. Changed a club that really didn't have an identity of football. It was Roy Hodgson like a fight. It was destroyed by him, but also saved by him at the same time. And then he came in, changed it all around. And you look at Tottenham now. It's funny you could say the same thing, that Ange could save them by winning a trophy, but he has destroyed them as a footballing sense side, because I watched them against Palace on the weekend, and they're so unstructured. They're all over the place, and it looks like there is no way this Tottenham team could actually win a game if they play the way that Ange wants them to play. I just don't think his style works for England, personally.
Do you know what? I've just seen something. I'm looking at FootMob, and I'm looking at a table,
Yep.
and I remember, like, I don't know whether it was a couple of weeks ago, but how much um, Wolves were grilled. And I'm looking at them right now, and how are they 14th?
Well, they went on.
I don't.
They went on. What was it? Six straight
Yeah,
run.
they
Six
went a
six straight wins.
very good run, but still, they were like in a relegation shout at one point. And
They
now
said
there's
they were, but I think
really
they were
weird.
always safe though, weren't they? I mean, that
Yeah, yeah.
they actually climbed
I
out
think
of the
they're
relegation
chance.
zone. The last time they were in relegation zone was in January, and then they got a few wins together, and that was that, wasn't it? I remember watching them
Yeah.
when they played Liverpool. We won 2-1 on the day, but they just
Uh,
players like Cunha. I know he hasn't been there for part of the streak and stuff, but they just helped, don't they? So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I suppose that's Tottenham and Man U. We both said we want Tottenham to win. Looking at the bottom three, who do you think is going to be the final team to get promoted?
oh, what in the
Yeah,
championship?
yeah, from the Championship.
So
We've got
I
Leeds.
think Sheffield are 4-0 up now.
Yeah,
So it'll be Sheffield against either Sunderland, Coventry. We'll find that one out tomorrow.
it's got to
Oh,
be Sheffield, right?
I wanna back my boy Frank, and that he'll go to Stadium of Light and overturn it, but I don't think he will. I think Sheffield will.
Yeah. I'd like to see Sunderland though.
I would.
I'd like to see it. I don't think they'd stay up.
That is that thing though, that there is always this team, and I think it happened with Coventry against Luton, where the underdog in that final tends to come off best. Like Southampton done it to Leeds last season.
Yeah.
So I think there is that kind of underdog story where they can go in and cause Wembley's Wembley.
Yeah.
If Sunderland are up for it, if the obviously you know what Newcastle fans are like. If
Yeah.
Sunderland's can go there and do that, it's that same thing.
Yeah,
Who
but
knows?
Newcastle fans are just Sunderland fans that jumped over, aren't they? I'm joking. I just say that to annoy the Geordies. It's nice and fun.
Yeah.
Nice to get them fishing. Anyways, moving on back to Premier League, and there is one team. One big game that wasn't actually a big game, but about 2 months ago it looked like a huge game. Liverpool versus Arsenal.
Oh right.
There's been a big drop off from Arsenal. They're now in talks of not even finishing second. Since we last went live, we were both right. PSG knocks them out. That was nice to see. We may have been wrong because we might have said Real Madrid knock them out, but I don't know how long it's been since we were live. They did well against Real Madrid, but then everything they seemed to do against Real Madrid went out the window when they played PSG. And I do think PSG are a better side than Real Madrid this season, and I think they're actually the best side in Europe. But yeah, I just think they didn't want it against PSG enough, did they? And it's run off their season.
I think with Madrid, Arsenal kind of when they went and won 3-0, I think Madrid kind of just knew, unless they done absolutely something huge, that they were out. And I think when that penalty happened, and Asensio gave it away, I think Arsenal never left second gear at the Santiago Bernabeu either.
No, they didn't really
And
have to,
Madrid
did they?
never went into it at all. That Madrid team, I mean, obviously, it's something we can speak on later, but Xabi Alonso going there.
Yeah.
Ancelotti, obviously, a bit, in my opinion, had a very tough season. But then PSG, I mean, fair play to Enrique. He's turned that PSG team, considering Mbappe's left as well.
But is that why they've been so good? Is it the end of Mbappe?
I think it is. I think his system works for what he's brought. I mean, players like João Neves, Vitinha, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, who didn't obviously,
incredible, isn't he?
Yeah, Dembele didn't play. I think he played like 20 minutes against Arsenal in the second leg, but in the first leg, I think he looked at Arsenal's weakness and just exploited it completely, and then let them just attack. Of course, Saka did miss that sitter. Would it have been a different game? I don't know. But Inter as well. They also, what a game! 2 games that was, like, incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I said maybe the best as a neutral to watch Champions League tie of all time. I mean, obviously you've got the comeback ones like Liverpool, Barcelona, and stuff like that. But I think if you were watching both games individually and then you think about putting them together, I mean, absolutely incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the two finalists be a very interesting game. I think they'll go well matched against each other. And I'm looking forward to it. I haven't looked forward to a Champions League final for a while, it feels like.
Yeah.
Whether that's because Man City have been in the final, or in fact, the last final I enjoyed was when Liverpool lost to Real Madrid. Obviously, I didn't enjoy the final itself, but the last one I looked forward to. Because what we had Madrid Dortmund last year, that was the write-off, wasn't it? Before it started.
Yeah, it was quite obvious.
And then was that Man City the year before that? I think it was.
Yeah, City, Inter.
And then
because Rodri scored, and then it was Liverpool, Madrid.
And then City had another
and then
one.
It was Chelsea, the other one.
Chelsea City, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, going back the years there. Well, we talk about City quickly. Question coming in. Who will KDB join?
Oh, God. I think he will go MLS.
Yeah, if he were to pick a Premier League team, do you reckon he'd go for a Champions League one?
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know if... Because I think it's about who would take him as well, as in wages.
I think he'd take a reduction, though. I feel like he'd take a reduction in... If he wants to stay and play in the Premier, he'd take a reduction.
I don't think he would go to any... Because I know he probably loves City too much. I don't think he'd go to, like, a United. He wouldn't... In my opinion, go to Liverpool. Because I think that's also a direct rival over the past few years.
It is, but there's a bit of a love rivalry there. But I don't see it happening from a Liverpool sense. I know that they talk about it all the time because he's a Liverpool fan, but I don't see it happening from a Liverpool sense, personally.
No. I don't see him going to Arsenal either, so I couldn't see that. I don't know if he'd come Chelsea. I think I don't think the board would probably...
Had him once before.
Break the wage budget for it, in my opinion. So I honestly think the only one, but again, would they take it, is Villa.
I have always one other shout. Tottenham Hotspur. I just think if they were to win the Europa League, could he bring the right mentality? Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. I do think MLS is more likely than anything. I suppose you mentioned him a minute ago. Xabi Alonso going to Real Madrid. Trent Alexander-Arnold is also going to Real Madrid. He's a rat. Is the simplest words I'd say about it. He obviously got booed on the weekend. I am team boo, honestly. I sit there and think, fuck him. You know, like, to me, in my mind, when a player leaves your club, unless they've left, you know, in good circumstances, which is very rare, normally, you know, actually at the end of their career, and gone to another club and you play them, most of the time they get booed. Most of the time they get a bad reception. In my mind, Trent's already left the club. In his mind, he's left the club. The league is done. Everything's done. I don't want to see him on the pitch again for Liverpool, personally. I don't see why he needs to be on the pitch again. He can sit on the bus if he wants to do the trophy celebrations and stuff. Come on for that, that's fine. He has been part of a title-winning side. But as a player, I would rather see Conor Bradley get every minute ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold now. I get why some people are like, why are you booing him? But at the same time, there's only one way I can describe it, and it's you got to think about a player for your club that is your academy product going when your club is winning and moving on. You know, you go back to Man U, for example, back in the day. Imagine if Rooney, when Man U had won multiple times in a row, I know he was Everton, but Rooney had gone off to Real Madrid. Yeah. Look, Ronaldo goes different because it's Ronaldo, and he was always going to do that. But someone like Rooney or Scholes or something like that, you know, people that are born and bred through Chelsea. Imagine if Lampard had gone to Real Madrid. How would you have felt if he announced it as well? He announced it and then he was playing on the pitch the next day. Well, not the next day, but you know what I mean, a couple of days later. I think it's very easy for people from an outside perspective to go, why are you booing him? Has he not done enough for you? Yeah, look. Yeah, he won stuff as part of a team, but he's now leaving that team. So, for me, the simple words I would say is, fuck Trent. What about you, Ben?
I have a 50-50 feeling with it. I get why Liverpool fans boo him, I do. But I also think... I think for what he's done for the club, and I don't know whether that's just me again looking from an outside perspective. It might be, but I think winning that caliber of player coming through your ranks, being a big part of Champions League, being the reason you realistically got there with the corner taken quickly, winning Prems, with Robertson, him and both putting up insane numbers as a fullback. I get the whole thing. I think maybe Liverpool fans, it's more about maybe did he leave for free? Like, for me, in a way.
I think
From when I look at it, I think a local lad he's a like 100 mil player. So it is like losing that type of caliber of player. If he left for 100 mil, he went to Madrid. I think there wouldn't be as much fuss about it, in my opinion. From what
I can't speak for all Liverpool fans, and every Liverpool fan has a different opinion. It almost feels. For me, the money has never been a part of the issue, and the reason that is because, and this actually applies to me in everything in a football sense. It doesn't come out of my pocket, and it doesn't add money to my pocket. So when Liverpool signed Darwin Núñez for 75 million or 85 million, fine, right? You can take the mick out of it. Has it cost me anything? No.
No.
When Trent goes for free, have I been robbed by Real Madrid? No. And also, let's not forget, right, they offered a joke of 20 million at January. For all we know, there might have been a backdoor offer for 50 million at the start of the season. These things don't come out for a long time sometimes. And look, him going for free means very little, especially when he costs nothing. But even if he had cost 100 million, that's like Man City fans getting annoyed at De Bruyne leaving for free. It just doesn't make sense to me because it's not affecting your bank account. So it's not to do with that. For me, it is entirely about Liverpool's position as a club right now. Sitting there and being, not the best in Europe, but one of the best in Europe for sure across the season. We probably were at one point the best in Europe. Bit of a drop off to the later part of the season. And he's walked away from that to go and play for a direct rival, They may not be a Premier League rival, but they are a rival in Europe. If you go, who's going to win the Champions League? The teams you're going to chuck into the hat next season will be Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, PSG, Barcelona, as you always do. So they're a direct rival, and that's what he's gone to join. His reasons for joining, I think, are poor. I want to challenge myself and have a new chapter. Boring, so generic. Ballon d'Or one is even worse because, I've said my Ballon d'Or reasons before. He will never win a Ballon d'Or ahead of Bellingham. It won't happen.
Do you know the way that I think he could have handled this so much better is just to announce it at the end of the season?
Yeah, I personally would have.
Madrid transfers.
I personally would have done it at the end of the season, or much earlier. I understand his reason for not doing it earlier, in terms of the Real Madrid bit, but he could have announced, "Look, I'm going to move on at the end of the season." Not said where he's going, and everyone would have then known. All right, well, no matter what, he's moving on. He'll go wherever he goes. It will probably be Real Madrid, but he hasn't gone and said, "I want to captain Liverpool." And all my contracts have been done in the background, and this one will be the same. He wouldn't have said all them things if he just said that this is going to be my last season. All right, fine. It's not like he's going somewhere else. He's picked somewhere else to go straight away. You've also got more time for that to settle in, and then okay, sure, with 2 months to go, or now, even if it had come through now, if we had known for a year since the start of the season, it would be his last season. Or even since Christmas, it would be his last season. People wouldn't be upset now at the fact that he's going to Real Madrid because they would have half expected it and known because he said he's moving on. Your only question would have been, is he going to go Madrid, Bayern, PSG, Barcelona? That's the questions that there would have been, rather than, he's going to Madrid, But Liverpool might have lined up a replacement as well, which has just been brought up in the chat. Frimpong, 35 million.
Oh, good, yeah.
What do you think of that? It's a steal, isn't it,
for
the price? Whoever does get him, it might not be Liverpool. He could go Barcelona or wherever. But that price, 35 million for a player of his caliber, is
he's a steal.
Very nice.
No, he's very, very good player. No, that.
He's
I
dying.
think I just nearly fell asleep. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can see it.
Um,
I can see it. We'll end up to save your eyes in a
nah,
moment.
yeah, Frimpong, it'd be a good deal. 35 mil. I mean, buying Leverkusen, they could lose absolutely everyone this window with
Well,
Alonso.
Tar's going.
Works.
Frimpong's.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think the release clause is getting leaked this much if he's not going. You know.
Mm.
I think he's also said he wants his next step.
Yeah.
I don't. Wirtz. Will they be able to hold on to him? I don't know. And yeah, I mean, look, if you take Frimpong, Wirtz, Tar, and Alonso away from that team, it's going to be a different team anyway. They might change their formation though and their style, and it could all be completely different. And talking of formations and styles, do you think Alonso will bring the three back to Real Madrid?
Yes. It's hard because with Madrid, I don't know if they've got. I know Trent's going there and Carvajal's still there, but the left side, I don't think there's honestly a real left back there. I know is it Berlin?
Yeah, Furland.
Furland, sorry. Mendy.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, but for me, I think having that three back system, Trent being that right mid, I think he'll love that.
Yeah, that works.
Because he hasn't got to
have to
defend.
admit, that works really well. And you put a competent defender behind him, whether it's, I don't know, Tchouaméni, sorry, plays in the back sometimes, or Rudiger or whoever. William Saliba is rumoured to be going to Real Madrid. I mean,
Oh, God.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if they did get Saliba in, bear in mind Trent's coming free. Don't have to spend money on that. Although we might be getting 1 or 2 million for him. Didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
But if they went and got Saliba, who has got 1 year left on contract, you know, and we might see this we could be sat here in a year's time with a very similar debate about William Saliba moving to Real Madrid on a free. Has he done it all in the background? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that Real Madrid team is going to look scary. But who does he drop? Rodrigo, Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinicius? Or is he going to drop Bellingham further deep?
I think Rodrigo, maybe. I think he would drop Rodrigo.
And then, would Rodrigo take that? Would he move on?
We'll have to wait till summer.
Yeah,
It'll
it
be
should
an
be
interesting
interesting.
window.
Yeah. But anyways, I think Ben might fall asleep if we talk about anything else. So, look, we're gonna head off now. Thank you everyone for joining and watching, and we are back, right? Yeah, we're back. Yeah, we feel back. We feel back.
If I don't fall asleep.
Yeah. You might sleep through till Friday, but we'll be live for Friday. 2 games left of the Premier League season. Then we'll probably move it to every week or every other week, depending on what's going on. There's the Club World Cup, so maybe weekly throughout that. We'll sort something out. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and great to have you back, Ben. And we'll see you in another one.
Yes.